go on a Friday. Live in Los Angeles, it's the Herd. Wherever you may be, however you may be listening, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, FS1. I wore a yellow shirt today. I just feel, and enjoy. We don't coordinate, but we want this spring look. It's cloudy and gloomy today. It is, which I love because I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, so I love clouds and gloom, and it felt like it was going to rain all last night. It was so nice out. And so
we're very tropical today.
We are very tropical today. It's our Tropic Friday.
I planned on coming in with my my face covered. That was a bad night for the Heat. Woo!
Not great.
Rough watch.
Well, the Warriors had a 50-point loss to Memphis, so it happens.
It does. It does.
If you hit your threes and one team doesn't, there you go. Parity. Everybody talks about parity. Parity can be wonderful. It can be, but it can also give you the Miami Heat as a number one seed in the conference. I've said it all year. Great culture, great coach. Love Jimmy Butler. I don't know. I don't see it. I think Boston, unless Jimmy Butler wears a cape and is Superman, I don't think Miami can win another game in the series. I don't. So far, Butler scored 70 points in the series. The rest of the starters combined, 2 of them undrafted, have scored 74 points. Boston's got better talent, better shot creators, far more elite defenders. And, I mean, at one point, the Celtics went on a 17-0 run in a playoff game on the road. That's hard to do. And the minute the Celtics were healthy and equally rested, I said this in Game 1. Game 1s are tricky in a playoff series. Be careful about making definitive opinions because Miami had 3 more days rest. Miami was healthier. Also, the Celtics came off a very grueling physical series against a big, strong veteran team in Milwaukee. Now they're equally rested. Ran them off the floor. I also think Boston's big 3 of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart, they're smart guys. They've been in this league now 4 and 5 years. They get it. They have to win this series. Nobody thinks Miami's great. Everybody knows there's a reason. Your FanDuels, there's a reason. Vegas, Boston's going to win this series. Almost everybody picked Boston for a reason, even though Miami was the number 1 seed. Boston's better. They got better players. In 7 of the 8 quarters, Boston's been the better team. And then they had 1 disaster quarter. But it looked like last night, equally rested and healthy. It wasn't that close. Miami does have a chance to win this series, and it's the same chance Dallas has. They got to hit a ton of threes. And the three-point shot is the great equalizer in basketball. Sometimes the best team does not win a game, and sometimes a series. It is the great equalizer. And Miami was a very good three-point shooting team in the regular season. For whatever reasons, they're not shooting the 3 ball that well in the playoffs. So that's bad news for the Heat because it's their way to win. So far, we've watched some playoff games, right? It feels like to me the Celtics and the Warriors are the 2 best teams left. The Celtics, great coach, great culture, easily the best roster of defensive players. Tatum can defend. Marcus Smart's fantastic. Jaylen Brown's athletic and twitchy. Robert Williams. That's the best defensive team in the league. And over in the West, Golden State feels like the best offensive team. Steph and Clay, Jordan Poole. I was talking to the staff this morning. You know, in 10 or 15 years, Golden State on paper will look way better than they are now because we're going to look up if they win the championship and go, Andrew Wiggins was their 4th best player? And some nights it feels like that. I mean, he took Luka, discombobulated Luka, the great young talent in basketball. So the thing you have to worry about if you're the Warriors who completely dismantled Luka and the Mavericks, and what you have to worry about with the Celtics is the same thing. Those teams both know they're better. Golden State knows they got far more good players than Dallas. They know it. And Boston knows they're a lot more talented than Miami. And both now have blowout wins. So the key is for Boston and Golden State, can you bring the intensity? Don't get overconfident. Because I've said this, there's an old bet in college football. The last 10 times teams have met in a bowl game after playing in the regular season, 8 out of the 10 times the team that lost in the regular season wins the bowl game, 9 out of 10, they win or they cover the spread. Why? It's hard to convince young athletes after you crush somebody that those guys can compete with you. So I think the Warriors in Boston are going to win this series. I think they face the same issue. The coaches have to convince the players, hey, these guys, they get hot. It's a different series. Marcus Smart, after last night's great performance.
We can't let them out hustle us, beat us to loose balls, offensive rebounds where they killed us, and transition and turnover. So we cut those down, and, our defense do what it does. So we just wanted to come in and beat a harder playing team tonight, and I think we did that.
Okay, well, many of you have been telling me that you think I've gone soft since I've come to California. Colin, you're not from California. Yeah, either is Matt Stafford or Sean McVay or Aaron Donald or LeBron James or Paul George or Lincoln Riley. Los Angeles is for the dreamers, the ascenders, the willful, the aspirational. Lots of people come to Los Angeles because they want to take a big swing, and they can be joined by the smartest entertainers and the greatest athletes. I am not from California, but I do love the community in which I live. Joy's not from here either, but there's a lot to like. And one of the things I like is they take big swings out here. People take big swings. So USC announced yesterday they got a commitment from the best college football receiver, Jordan Addison. That goes along with stealing the best coach in college football offensively in Lincoln Riley. And they also stole the best quarterback from Oklahoma, Caleb Williams. 3 best transfers so far in the transfer portal have been Lincoln Riley, Jordan Addison, and Caleb Williams, and USC got all 3. I always roll my eyes at college fans. Occasionally, a great program like Kentucky, a great program like Arizona will be down. They'll make a bad hire. You see it in college football all the time. A great program. Notre Dame was down for years. Alabama was a mess. Florida was a toilet for a while. And once they get the right coach, they always rebound quickly. Let me give you 4 examples. Oklahoma with John Blake was a disaster. Bob Stoops got the job. Next year, 7-5. Next year, national champs. Urban Meyer took over for Ron Zook, who ended up at one point working in a bank. Urban Meyer, 9-3 to 13-1, won a national title. Remember what a joke Bama was with Mike Shula? Saban took it over 7-6, then 12-2. Brady Hoke to Jim Harbaugh. We thought Michigan was dead. There were empty seats everywhere. Nobody went to the games. 10-3 overnight. And those 4 coaches didn't have a transfer portal. They didn't have LA money in the NIL. Folks, if you don't get it, those who don't get it, don't get they don't get it. USC is going to be really good. Now, because the previous head coach not only couldn't recruit at a high level, he couldn't develop. Most of USC's talent, probably about 90%, is on the offensive side. So they're going to be a really lopsided football team this season. They'll only be able to win one way, outscore you. And because of that, they won't be able to compete with Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Notre Dame's really good. Ohio State's going to be fantastic. They may win the whole thing. They're not there yet. They need another recruiting class. They need another year of the transfer portal. But folks, this is a huge national brand that just got a quarterback and a receiver from Washington, D.C., just like Pete Carroll did. I roll my eyes at myopic college fans, college basketball and football, when you see these great programs. North Carolina for a while. Do you remember that? Was it Dean Smith? They just couldn't quite get it right. Yeah, now North Carolina is now back at the very top. The big brands in college, I can make an argument. There's only really one college football brand that's been great in the last 20 years that wasn't 25 years ago, and that was like Oregon because of Phil Knight's money and commitment. That's it. He just bought his way in, and I know Phil, and I love Phil, and he wrote a great memoir and all of it. But the teams that were great in the 50s and 60s and 70s, every time USC gets the right coach, John McKay, he wins national titles, goes to the NFL. John Robinson wins national titles, goes to the NFL. Pete Carroll wins national titles, goes to the NFL. Lincoln Riley, couple of boxes to check, both will happen. Now, will they fill the Coliseum tomorrow? No, because when Pete was here, The NFL wasn't in town. LAFC wasn't in town. The Dodgers weren't the best baseball team. The Clippers were a joke. It's a much more distracted market. There's a lot of mouths to feed in sports. And I imagine with this schedule, which includes Rice and Fresno State, there'll still be empty seats. But those that don't get these big Oklahoma, Michigan, Florida, Bama, USC, folks, in 4 months, USC is a completely different roster. Harbaugh, Stoops, Zook, Saban did it without the transfer portal. Yes, I'm from somewhere beyond California, but when you live here, you see it over and over and over. Great people want to live here. They want to challenge themselves, like all these 20 and 21-year-old kids deciding lots of choices. We want to be back at USC. Oh, it's just, that's why I wore yellow today. I feel just the colors flowing. And you know, I'm also rooting for the Texas Longhorns and the Miami Hurricanes. I've told you this before. I have had enough of rural college football powers. Give me the Canes. Give me the Horns. Give me USC. The attendance and ratings have gone into the tank for the last 7 years. We're over small towns dominating. I want the Canes. I want the Trojans. I want the Horns. All you kids out there, consider the big city once in a while. It's a great place to live.